So in part one of preparation for your midterm, we were making some walls. We made a wall type A, we made a wall type B, we made a wall type C, and we want to make some more. This is our stack wall. We don't need that in here anymore. We want to make some more. So let's make 10. You don't know, and I don't know how many wall types there will be in the midterm, but that's one of the things we need to start with. So we can begin with just doing this. We'll just copy them down. Take that crop region and make it bigger. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we won't see that one because it's outside of the crop region. Okay, and now we'll pull it down to here. So if we take a look at this section, what does that look like? Here is our wall types. We've made them. I spread them a little bit farther out. You'll see why in a second. That's what I want to do, is tag them. So we can annotate, tag by category. This is B. What's this one? Doesn't have one. Doesn't have a tag yet. Doesn't have a tag. So let's tag them all right now anyway. And this is something you can do for your preparation for the midterm. The more preparation you do for the midterm ahead of time, the more time you will have to spend on actually executing the requirements of the midterm. So we have, this is wall type A, this is B, this is C, but C doesn't have a tag on it. We need to edit the type and come down here. We're looking for type mark. Here it is. So we'll just put that in there and we'll say that that's C. Let's do it in a cap. Oh, there was a cap. Okay. So all of these are tagged with a letter now because they're C's, but we want to change that. So we have a C, we want to make a D. Edit the type, duplicate it. We'll just call it D. Okay. And we'll come down to the type mark and change that to D and say, okay, look what happens. Now the wall that we changed to D, we didn't change any of the properties of that wall. We're just labeling it right now and giving it its unique name. So we did a D, let's do an E. Edit the type, duplicate in view, let's do an E. Come down to type mark, E, and let's see what happens. Now it changed it. That wall type E. This one will change to F. Edit the type, duplicate it. We'll call it F, and we'll give it a type mark, F. Okay. And then we need a G, EF. Now let's do a G. Edit the type, duplicate it. This one we're going to call it G, and we'll give it a type mark of G. And H, same thing. Edit the type, duplicate G. Did I do a G already? Is that H? Well, we'll try it. No, I don't remember. So we have a G. We need this to be H. So we'll do it again. It's not that difficult. Duplicate. We're going to call it H. Say okay. Come down here and change that to H. Now this is all stuff that you want to do in preparation for your midterm. Edit the type. Duplicate it. We're going to call it, again, I forgot. Cancel I. Edit the type. Duplicate it. We're going to call it I. And we'll change the type mark to I. Now, oh, we got a J also, so let's do that. Edit the type, duplicate it, J and J. Say okay. So now we've created a wall type A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J. Now you don't know what these wall types will actually consist of. For example, if we edit this type, we can see and we can preview it. And I like to look at it in section view, but plan view is fine too. So that's what it looks like in a section. And these are the components in there. I will, as part of the midterm, I will explain what I want the layers or the different components to be in that wall type A, and for B, and for C, all the way through I. And I will tell you what the thickness of those materials are. So we can say okay to that, and we can say okay to that because we didn't change it. And this is something that you would want to have set up originally or before you even start the exam, the midterm, because you have 3 hours and 20 minutes to complete the creation of the stacked walls. So we go back to the first floor, we can see that we made all of those. They're not labeled, so let's label those two so we're not confused. Annotate, tag, let's say tag all. And I think if we say wall tags, let's see what happens. Didn't work. Not sure why. So we'll just tag it by category then. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J. Okay, so we have those wall types. That would be the second step that you wanted. First, you want to make one wall type and then just make a bunch more. Copy them. You don't know what these are made up of. If you look at the composition of D right now, edit the structure. What is it? It's the same gypsum wallboard, air, gypsum wallboard as all of these other ones are. Let's look at this one. Edit the type. Same thing. So what will happen as part of the midterm is that you'll actually say, okay, I'll tell you I want wall type B, for example, to have some different characteristics. I might say I want I want 2 layers of gypsum wallboard. So we would insert, now we have another one. So we'll call that finish. And what is it? What's the material? Gypsum wallboard. Just type GYP, let's see what comes up. Gypsum wallboard, say okay. So now we've changed it to that. And this one I might say is an inch thick. Okay. Now what did it tell? Layer function priorities. Okay, so let's change finish 1. Let's change this to finish 1 and see what happens. We try to, layer 2 is a problem, so we'll make that finish 1, and let's see what happens now. All right, it worked. That's just the priorities thing. So now if we go take a look at that, go to view. Which one did we change? This one right here. Now this one has 2 layers. Let's change the, so we have 2 layers now. We have 1 layer of gypsum board that's an inch and 1 layer that's 5/8. So that's a different wall type now. Save it. And that is what will happen in the midterm exam is I will give you 10 different wall types that you need to make. And you can see how easy it is. Let's go to C, edit the type. And let's say that I wanted another, well, let's say that this finish wasn't gypsum wallboard, but rather it was some sort of siding. Let's see what we have available. Wood shakes. Okay. So now that's wood shakes, and maybe the thickness of that is an inch. instead of 1/2 inch. What did I do wrong here? Okay, that worked. So now this wall type has, if we take a look in this section, this is the section. If we take a look in the section, you can see that now that wall type has the siding on the outside and the gypsum board on the inside. Now, let's add some more materials to D. Don't do this. Leave all of them however you want. Now, let's say we're going to put 2 more materials on the outside. So let's make this our siding. SIDING. Let's see what we come up with for siding. This time it's going to just be siding. Oh, how thick do we want that siding to be? Let's say it's 2 inches thick, and we'll make it a finish. And then let's put some rigid insulation here. So we'll just type rigid. And we have rigid insulation. Okay. And let's say we don't want gypsum board on that side. Let's make that plywood instead. Okay. So we'll type PLY, PLY, looking for plywood. And we have plywood sheathing. We select it, we say okay. Now, the rigid insulation is a substrate. The plywood sheathing, that might be structure, but we'll call it a substrate. And we still have that, so okay. And we got 0 thickness. So we have to change the rigid insulation. Let's give it a 1 inch thickness. We didn't, these materials have to have a thickness. Okay. So now that's what wall type D is made up of. And so you can just make one wall and duplicate it, but then rename it or copy it first and then rename it to B, C, D, E. And that is a good setup for the beginning of your midterm. So we'll save that. And now let's go to our stacked wall. We'll put another stack. We'll put any stacked wall in here that we want. Doesn't matter. Architecture, wall. Let's go down. Oh, wait, I'm trying to put a wall in a section. We have to put a wall in a floor plan. So let's put that wall right here. Wall. We're looking for a stacked wall. And we could take any stacked wall. It doesn't matter because we're going to rename it. Okay. So let's use this one. And we'll just put it, we can put it right there. What did it say? Wall. Our constraints. It gave us an error message. So let's change the constraints. So the bottom of the basement wall is the bottom, and up to the roof plan is okay. We want to do that. Okay, we'll put that in right here. Should be okay now, and it is. We'll go back and look at it in a section. There it is. Okay, it's a stacked wall. It only looks like it has 2 pieces, but let's edit the type, duplicate it, and let's say that it's midterm. So now we can change this wall without it having any change in the original wall that we've copied. Edit the type, and let's make this I can see all of them except for A and B. So let's make it H. Okay. Let's make this I. Let's make this J. And let's make this A. So we'll go, we have an A up here. There it is. And we'll insert another one and we'll make that B. Okay. Now we'll make all the offsets 0. And we can change the height of those. So we can say the height of H is 2 feet. And I'll give you all of this information. 1 foot. We want B to be the variable. So we click on that and say variable. And that takes the variable away from 3 and puts it down to 5, which is row 5, which is B. And let's make this 4 feet. And let's make this 10 feet. I'll give you all of those, okay? So now if we take a look at this wall, what do we have? We will find out that our wall heights, different walls types that we made, are exactly the height that we said they should be. Let's see if this helps us any. I'm trying to dimension the different walls. It sure doesn't help us. Let's take a look at the 2 feet, 1 feet, 4 feet, and 10 feet. 2, 1, 4, 10. So this one, if we dimension it, there's another wall here at 2 feet, right there. And then there's one at and this one. I'm missing one. So let's go back and look at it again. Edit the type. It goes 241, 214. Okay. I'm just looking at the, so there's another one in here that's only a foot down. I don't have to redo my dimensions. Click on it, edit the witness line, and I can just go down a foot and I know there's another one there. Okay. This one will drag over so that it can be read. Right? So there's that wall. Okay. Which is the variable? This one. If I change the constraints of this wall height so that it goes up to the roof plan and 10 feet higher, what happens? This is the wall that stretches, the variable. All of these other 2, 1, 4, 10, they all stayed the same distance because that's what we said we want. Regardless of the height of the wall, these first 4 will always be those dimensions. And this one, the variable, will stretch or contract in order to satisfy our constraints that say how tall that wall is. So if we said it was minus 5 feet, let's see what happens. So now all of those walls, we lost one. For whatever reason, I don't know, but we'll edit the type. And then we'll come down here. There's one. And I thought there was one there. So the walls are there. We just lost the dimension. But the same thing happened. We still have 2, 1, 4, and 10 feet. But those are what we told it to be. And we said this is the variable. So as we make this wall less in height, the variable is the one that changes to stretch or to contract in order to satisfy the height of that wall. So this is part 2 of what you want to do to set up for the midterm. This is simply copy those walls, then change the properties or the name of those walls by simply editing the type, duplicating it as I showed, and giving it another name. This would be step 2. This is something you want to do before the exam, the midterm starts. You want all of this set up, ready to go, so that when I tell you what the composition of wall A is, you simply edit the type, come over here, edit the structure, and duplicate whatever I tell you exists in the materials and the thicknesses. of that particular wall type A. And that's a lot to do. So we're breaking this up into small pieces. So I'll let you pursue that. And of course, we're preparing for this ahead of class. So when it's time for class, and this is the kind of stuff that I want you to do, have ready to go. So if you're having problems or trouble and you can't figure it out by the video, because you can pause this video, you can rewind it, you can watch it again, you can say, wait a second, what did he do there? And then you can rewind it and go back and watch exactly how that happened. But sometimes errors occur, of course, you're new to the program, and that's a lot of what the class time is for me to help you get set up for the midterm so that you can do very well on the midterm exam.